Wait, they didn't actually claim that they built these
never
things?
claimed they built them. They never said how, that they did it, or what they did. In fact, they alluded more in all their stories and all their stuff that they were given all of this, that they came upon it, they were given to them. Thoth came and gave it to them. People, other deities came and gave them, or they came across it already there.
Whoa.
They never claimed to have built it. Find out where they said it and come challenge me on it.
I'd be curious.
I haven't found it yet.
If you can find that, I would see it.
I would love to see. Hey, anything I say, if you can challenge me on it, by all means, I will change my opinion.
We would actually appreciate
I
the
would
challenge
love
because-
for you to show me I'm wrong so that I can change. I will come on here immediately. I will show you that I'm wrong, and I'll show you what the new one is, and I will start going down that road from then on. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to just find it. So if you think I'm wrong, bring it. Please bring me the evidence, because everything I say, I can back up in some form or fashion.
Yep.
I may not be doing it right here, right now, which we do plan on doing some episodes where we're going to show you things. We're going to let you see some of the stuff that has been uncovered to show a lot of these correlations. It all started with the pyramids.
It really did.
That's where it all began.
That's what that's where everything seems to be lining up with the pyramids, which
It's the biggest. It is the greatest lie. It is the greatest lie, because when you uncover that, you uncover everything they don't want you to uncover.
Yeah. Which, I mean, first things first, free energy, planetary energy.
That's number one.
Why do you think Tesla stopped being important?
He figured it out.
Figured it out, and they were like,
killed his
yeah,
ass.
about that.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that shit, dude.
Yeah.
And then they use all this technology today.
Right.
They use it all.
They just charge us for it. You know, it's fine.
Like, yeah, you break us from the energy grid. You have taken, you've unshackled the human race. It's the idea of like,
right.
Imagine you could have a box that powered your whole house for free. Just a little box. And people think like, oh, that's, like that. This is possible. This is absolutely possible.
Right.
The physics are there. Like, I've looked into the science of this. The science is there. It can be done. And I can like, I'm trying to make ways to let people understand this idea that like it's always there.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get better at the analogies of like letting people see it, but like it is like it's all there. The energy's there. We just got to learn how to tap into it.
And that's what it is. That's what you're just tapping into that energy.
We are not generating energy.
Never have been. Never will.
Hey, law of thermodynamics. You cannot create nor destroy anything.
That's
Any
exactly
energy.
what I was
That
thinking.
energy cannot be created or destroyed. And I actually believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be. I think it can just be transferred around.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way a water turns into a gas, into a solid. It just converts into some shit, And we're like, oh, it's a gas. It's gone now. Disintegrated. That is not how that shit works. You burn wood. Burning wood turns into like multiple shit.
Mm-hmm. It does.
It turns into some kind of heat that turns into like some kind of chemical smoke, and then it turns into like some kind of charred material, and then like it goes into a bunch of different ways.
I never thought about that with fire. How many different elements
dude.
it turns into, how many different things it morphs into. It's like, whoa.
You're watching fucking live stream of some kind of alchemy going on. And that's another part of this is like when you start understanding all of this, alchemy is more than possible. Shit, we do that shit all day, every day already.
What's alchemy?
The ability to turn one element into another element.
Oh.
It's like the golden, kind of what everybody was after was, besides the Philosopher's Stone, but like really was like turning everything into gold. Could we turn something into gold? Like theoretically, yeah, you can. Because when you start breaking down what all this shit really is and what we are and whatever, yes, you could do any of this.
Speaking of gold, on the pyramids, was there a gold cap on it at one point, and why?
This is tough.
Because weren't they supposed to be white or something like that at some point too?
Well, there was an outer layer to them,
like limestone. Was
yes, and actually, it's like written, documented evidence that it was there like up until the 1800s, until some assholes came and fucking destroyed the rest of it. Like there was still a lot of signs of it.
Assholes.
Yeah, with some thieves came in and ruined all of it and stole it. And now you can actually find parts of it around Egypt, built into structures and in a few museums. Yes.
Wait, find what?
This old no. There was a like some kind of like super nice white crystal limestone outer casing.
Okay. So
that was the rest of it was destroyed off of that
vandalized.
shit. Vandalized. Yeah.
And
then you now find it throughout the city. They built it into the structures and they put it up for a museum. Yeah. Oh. So that was really shitty. But like the tops of them all disappeared. No one's ever had documented evidence of there being a top.
Okay. So where
so they would have been gone for a long time if they were there. Now, at the same time, I would say that if Tesla has anything to do with this, then he put a conductive dome top.
Okay. What was his made out of? Do you know?
Shit, it would either have been silver, aluminum, or gold, but it wasn't gold, so it would have been probably like aluminum of some kind. You know, maybe aluminum and silver are kind of like the two conductive materials people really like to use for a lot of shit, especially aluminum. Yeah. I find out aluminum's like way more heavily used than we think it is. Really? Silver's just super good at conducting electricity, and gold's like the standard because gold doesn't ever rot. It doesn't ever rust away and decay and shit. Like it's fucking forever, dude. Gold. Which is wild. Yeah. So at that point, it most likely would have been of a conductive material.
Okay.
That's all I would, and his was designed as like a donut toroidal dome. And conductive, and I think that was because he was harnessing radiant energy as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was more to this. I don't, plus the shape defines how your shit comes and goes. Yeah. So like a round version or a square or circle, spirals, like these all matter on how the signal gets sent and how it receives. So you can even play with this radio right here, and you can take an antenna like this one right here, and if you're facing it like this, you can get a signal, and then you do this, and you'll get a whole new signal.
Yeah, right.
And that's just like, because it's coming in this way. Now it's coming in this way. Right? And so the antenna handles this differently. And there's it's like, are you perpendicular to the waves? Are you parallel with them? Like, like there's all these different ways you would have to then interpret the waves coming into you. And then like, what kind of waves? Are they sine waves? Are they triangular waves? This is all a very big deal. So the way you would design all of this becomes shape fucking matters.
Yeah, right.
If sacred geometry taught me shit, it is shape matters. The shape of anything you do, especially electrical, like now it becomes like uber important. Huh. If you're going to do electrical and magnetic shit, then now shape becomes everything.
How'd you discover that? How'd you discover shape is everything almost? Like it is what changes? So
like a pyramid, all power goes up to a point and is like intensified. We know this. That's like a studied thing.
Okay.
And then when you go and you look at like something like this, which is like really weird, okay? If you go ask Google right now, is there a shape that is a perfect circle, a perfect square, and a perfect triangle in one? It will tell you fucking no. I'm pretty sure it doesn't tell you. Now, I could be wrong now. Maybe it does now. But like, it doesn't really want you to know that there is a shape that is a perfect circle, a perfect square, and a perfect triangle in one.
Does it depend on the way it moves? How does it?
This is it. So when you look at it like this, perfect circle.
Oh.
Perfect triangle. Right? Now, if you take it and you put it up to a light and you look at it, you'll see the square.
Literally.
It's a perfect square as well.
Yep.
So it's all three in one. This came from Tesla.
I was going to ask, where did you discover the shape? Why is
this is where it all led me to. This is really what started the sacred geometry route, is because ultimately Tesla apparently gave this to a guy named Otis Carr. Otis Carr claimed this shape right here is the key. Okay, so then I started discovering that, shape obviously matters, and the frequency of things. Like, we can get deep into that one, and I don't really want to get into that too much right now, but ultimately for this right here is that when you create electromagnetic field the field is defined by the shape to a certain degree. And then if you spin it, you can start warping the field. And then the shape plus the spin. Oh, now you got some fun happening. So like for something like this, it points up and down. So the energy will go that direction, right? Well, then if you spin it as well, I've seen signs on YouTube of people playing with this device.
Oh?
Yes, that I can show, that we can have a show and tell day for this one.
That'd be fun.
You know, because this is like very to the pyramids. This is why I think the pyramids are shaped the way they are and are electrical in a sense as well, is that they point to the top, you spin these things. Now they're showing in these videos that he was putting a voltmeter above and below the spin of it as he put an electric charge into it. He covered the thing with aluminum, then had it spin, and then he just put 2 conductive brushes on each side of it to conduct the electricity through it. That's all. He just made it a connection point. Whoa. Okay? And then he spun the bitch really fast, and he put a voltmeter above it, and he had 3 volts going in, 13 coming out.
Really?
He had more coming out of it now than he had going into it. And this is where this starts to come into play, is that the shape matters. Spin matters. What materials you use, what magnets, ferromagnets, natural magnets internally. That's where I'm going to take a ferromagnet, put it inside of it. I'm then going to close it in, and I'm going to wrap a coil around the whole thing. And then I'm going to conduct an electric charge through it. And now you've created an electromagnet. And then you spin the bitch, because that's why you put the brushes, so it can spin. Otherwise, the wires will get tangled, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you just lay a brush on it that's conductive, and it spins. They'll start spinning. And, dude, this is where weird shit starts to happen. And this is where, like, why would the shape matter? Why does all this matter? How does Tesla know this shit? How would he have known this shit? And then, like, you try to find out more about this little guy, and that's, like, really hard to do, dude.
You're like, it doesn't exist, though.
And, like, what's the 3 most basic shapes? A circle, a triangle, and a square.
Yep.
It's all in one. Everything comes... This is, like, sacred geometry in a fucking shape. That's why I had my friend 3D build these for me. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. He had these 3D made for me so that I could play with them. And I'm going... You'll see a setup coming. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. I already have it all drawn out. A lot of the plans for all the things that I'm trying to go with this, because I really want to test out a lot of this stuff. Is this real? Is it not? I don't know. You know,
we could technically find out. Yes, especially with the knowledge that you have. I feel like you could.
I hope. I mean, I'm getting there.
Right. I feel like you could figure out whether or not it works.
That's the goal. I'm very theoretical at the moment,
and
everything's theoretical. But like, I want to go to the applied side now.
Knowing you, I feel like you dive into it for hours on end until you figure out how it works.
I do. It's like, I'll go fucking weeks if I have to.
Bro, Chaz, haven't seen you in like 2 months.
Yeah, dude.
I have been working nonstop on this.
I call it the hole. Yep. I'm like, I've been in my hole.
Real deep.
You know, like, you just let it go for a little bit. I do. I can't help it. Like, when I'm on something, it's like ADHD, man. It's like perfectly pinpointed to it. I hyper focus in on shit, and I cannot stop until I figured it out. So like, even if I don't know what the fuck this thing, I'm like, fuck it. I don't care if I don't know. Let's go figure it out. And so I do know.
Yep.
You know? And so like the pyramids, I've sat there, I've gone through each stone. I've gone through the dimensions of it. What every piece of that damn thing I can get my hands on. Every book, every research paper, every single historical document, I have it all that I can get my hands on. Every image of the historical inside of it, dimensions, Doppler fucking radar scans. I don't care. I've got it. I'm trying to get it. I want to know more. Those things are life's mystery. It's the only wonder of the world still left, and there's a reason why they don't want us to know shit about it.
It will change everything. I mean, the history, for one, like our entire history will have to be rewritten, basically.
Yeah, because it really then led me to kind of come to more of a closing aspect of this, in a sense of like, well, obviously we can go way deeper into a lot of this shit, but like that will then open you up into understanding that, oh my God, if we can't really do that, and that is an ancient thing that was built beyond our time, pre 12,000 years ago, well, then you start looking at the other structures globally, the other quarries globally. Most people don't realize we find these fucking quarries with these giant 1,500-ton blocks being quarried out of them, and we just don't. No one knows about them. No one knows about the quarries in China. That Sheng whatever quarry in China is insane. The way they have just straight out of granite, they have just like cut blocks straight through the whole thing, like a tunnel all the way through. And then they just like sliced a piece right through the middle, and now there's just like a hallway through two of these giant mountain, like it's wild what they have done.
Okay,
it's wild.
So imagine it's this ancient civilization that has this technology. I'm curious.
They were global. They were global.
Do you think? Right. They had to have been.
I can show it to you, dude. When we go through my Google Earth project, I will show this to you. It is a global civilization.
It's a global phenomenon.
It surely was.
What device or technology do you think they were able to use to cut out these gigantic stones? Like it had to be something. It had to be something that we have no concept of.
I know. I don't know. It's like
no theories or anything?
Two of my best theories would be either plasma or sound. Vibration will fuck shit up. We know this. We know we can do levitation with vibration. We know we can do all kinds of things with vibration. Vibration is electromagnetism's brother. They are very in tune with each other. And in fact, you can create electrical signals and electromagnetic signals through vibration, and you can receive them and turn them into vibration, and we can harness electricity this way. So they're very entwined. So in my mind, this is like a very possible reality that I've never seen come to fruition. I've seen things get lifted, but cut with sound.
I was just about to ask, do you think sound could cut? Or maybe they had, plasma and sound.
That's my next one, would be plasma. That or like a superheating. Like, you look at some of the boulders from around the world, because I've tried to analyze not just the pyramid boulders and the pyramid granite and the blocks or whatever. Like, there's a ton there. And, like, between Osiris and the pyramids, like, there's tons that you can look at, okay? But I've then gone to Petra, where they built it into the mountain. I've shown you this.
Yeah.
They literally just built the damn structures into a side of a mountain. All over the place. Not like one structure. It's like dozens of these that are like 3 stories tall. It's insane what they have done there, okay? Then I go to Japan. I go to Peru. And I obviously didn't go there, but I've been searching these things up, all right? So China, Angkor Wat in India and Indonesia, in that area. You go into Turkey with Darren Kuyu, and you go into England with Stonehenge, and they actually have multiple Stonehenges around the world. We've got a Stonehenge in England. We have a Stonehenge in Africa. We have a Stonehenge in Australia that are all known and found. Then we have another one that we have found under the water in America that they won't release it yet. They've shown some pictures of it, but they won't show us where it is.
You said in America?
In America. It's in Lake Michigan.
Really? In Michigan, Lake Michigan.
Which is weird because I'll show you the project where I have found an island that points to two. It points directly to Africa and Australia's Stonehenge, and then directly to Lake Michigan.
Curious.
Wonder where it's pointing to.
And I bet you anything, we're not going to go looking for it.
Nah, hell no.
No one's going to know about it.
No, they won't. Yeah. No, they found it like 10 years ago. They won't tell anybody. And the guy who found it, you can't find his shit anymore. I tried to email the dude. I couldn't. You cannot, dude. Good luck, man.
Oh, did he disappear?
It's like he's there, but like I can't. Every email I send is like return to sender email. You know what I'm saying? Like this
exists, but doesn't. It's fine. Yeah.
There it is. The guy. I try to cut down all the leads.
Yeah, right.
I try. Like I'm not perfect. I miss a lot of shit, and some things I just get lazy on. But like, I tried to go find this guy, to go ask him. I literally sent him images of what I had put together, but like everything just gets sent back to me. I can't find out how to reach the guy so that I just be like, yo, just give me the lat long so I can just point my shit to it so my lines are right. That's all I really want, because I've come to realize that if you start pointing things on Google Earth with a line, you will inherently run into more shit. So like all these things are pointing to shit.
You show me a lot of it, and they really do. They just keep lining up globally.
It's really weird how many things I believe I have solved that we don't think we understand.
Yeah.
Like the Karnak stones. These 500-ton stones sitting in this farm that are just perfectly all lined into straight lines. And no one's like, everybody's like, oh, well, burial.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Burial. Must be a burial. Never found shit here, but it's got to be a fucking burial. You know, and it's like,
Ancient.
Jesus, man. You know? But like, then I come in and I'm just following lines, dude. I just make lines and follow them. And then I'm like, oh, shit, dude, those Karnak stones are lat longs. They're not fucking burials or whatever you guys think they are. I don't know what you think they are, but they're not. They're lat longs.
So all of these phenomenon, stones and things just lined up across the planet. Why? What do you think they are doing?
I think there's two parts to this. One, you come somewhere and you map it. Number two, how do you keep that map there for fucking ever?
Even with cataclysms and things like that?
You know there's cataclysms. Not only that, but like that moon that we have, strange how it stabilizes us as well as it does, and it's crucial to our life, and we have to have it. And it's also weird how it doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense when you start diving deeper into it.
Right.
But that's another story. But like, yes, I would say that they came here, they mapped our place, especially when you look at the Nazca lines and you look at Peru and that whole just insane geoglyphic area of like spirals and spiders and like triangles everywhere and rose markers, and somehow it's perfectly aligned with Angkor Wat, and like not just perfect, like it's perfectionly lined up.
Perfection.
It's really weird.
And you can't see any of that from the ground necessarily, right?
No.
That's an aerial.
We did not discover any of that until the 1920s or 30s when we flew over it in a plane. And someone was like, what the fuck is all that down there?
What's that writing?
Yeah, and when we asked the natives...
What farmers doing that?
That's, dude, yes. I mean, this is like, I feel like, yeah, that's like how it was. And like the natives of the area used to think some of the bigger mounds that were kind of in the middle of nowhere were like religiously, of course they're religious, but like some religious offering. So they would go and they would do offerings there and shit, but like no one really knew that these giant spirals and spiders and fishes and shapes that are wildly electrical and alien looking.
I wonder why the animals, like why the shapes of animals and things like spiders, fishes.
I don't know, dude. The lines that like go back and forth in the spirals, because like you made me realize it with one of these. You see how you have a spiral right there?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the spiral's probably talking about. It's a fucking antenna. Most of these antennas are spirals, and maybe that's kind of, it's like, I keep thinking it's got to be all electrical based. So these all got to be like electrical symbols. Electrical symbols like look like alien symbols to a certain degree. Like just look at those damn things and you're like,
Even Semitic patterns look like alien symbols when you don't know what they are. Everything is alien until you know what it is.
Yeah.
Until it's familiar to your eyes, it's alien.
It's just alien. And those shapes and everything, and I just think, yeah maybe. It's just, look, man, it's all weird. You go around the world and you look at all the ancient structures that have these stones. Like these stones they're like perfectly placed in ways they're molded together in ways that like they make them earthquake proof.
Yeah.
So the ones in Japan, they have like the key lock shapes. It's really strange. They have them all over the place.
Yeah.
All these if you go look at like Japan's where their emperor lives or whatever, it's built on top of one of these structures. They just took the base of these giant ancient boulder stones that are like bigger than... They're fucking huge. You see some person standing next to it, and it's just this wall, And it's like, what the... They built it on top of all of that for a reason. It's because these things are insanely... You can't destroy them. We can't destroy them.
That's impressive.
Earthquakes can't destroy them. I would bet a mile-high tsunami probably can't even do some of it.
Which would be cataclysm proof almost, right? Like
look at those pyramids. Those pyramids, as old as I say they are, they've been through cataclysms.
Right. How many years do we have a cataclysm? What's the theory?
Oh shit, it's every like
couple thousand. Okay.
I want to say every 13 to 20,000 years. I have it written down. I have it written down. I've got
So-
it all mapped out and timed.
So, oh wait, when was our last cataclysm? When did that happen? I'm
That's
trying to
the
think.
question.
The pyramids, were they right after a cataclysm? Did that happen?
I think we had the last major. Well, all right. So, like, what is the cataclysm?
It depends. Right.
You know, and
Are they multiple?
That's
different-
another problem. Is like I think the real resets are the pole shifts.
The real cataclysm.
That's the one that like everybody just dies.
Yeah.
Like you pretty much have like 1,000 people left.
Yeah.
At best.
Enough to repopulate.
Underground, and they come out of the mountains in the ground, and they're like, all right, I guess let's start. Toth, come down,
Yeah.
please.
Hello.
Hello, Toth. Noah, where are you, Noah? You know, like that's, I think that was about 12,000 years ago. All evidence shows that whatever took place 12,000 years ago was insanely devastating to this planet on a level we cannot comprehend. Like the woolly mammoths
Yeah.
that were just found in Siberia, insta-death. So fast that it preserved the food in their mouth.
You mean frozen, right?
Frozen solid, instantly. Instantly. The hair, the food in their mouth, everything's preserved perfectly. And the only way you could do that is by insta-freeze. The same way we do flash freezing for food.
Right.
There's a reason for that, because if you freeze something too slowly, you will cause crystals to form on the cells that will then break the cell and kill it. So if you flash freeze, it does it so fast, you no longer create those cells or those crystals, and you will no longer damage it. And that's the problem that we have with cryogenically freezing humans.
Oh, okay.
If you were to freeze us too slowly, you will fucking kill us.
It has to be instantaneous.
And then if you want to unfreeze us, you got to do the same thing and respond.
It's not a slowly unfreeze
I don't
process?
think
It would be-
so. I
it would
think
be
you
a,
got to do. I could be wrong on this one, but you've got to make sure that this unfreezing free. Now I'm pretty sure actually with the fish thing, because you can unthaw fish and they'll come back to life.
Really?
We know this. You can freeze a fish fast enough that then you can unfreeze it and it'll start to come back to life. And
How long does it take to unfreeze it before it starts coming back to
that
life?
one it can thaw out.
Really?
So you might be right on this one. Yeah, I need to look more into that one. I think it can thaw. I think you can thaw. Now I don't know, dude, because like, what happens to
Right.
your brain when it's thawing?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man.
We've got so many like
So half your brain's thawed out and the other half's still thawing, you know? Like, I don't, this is weird.
I would assume it has to be an all-encompassing thawing. It has to happen at the exact same time. It can't be like
there has to be like a leveled heating system going on.
It would have to be. It would have to be very
Pump through
precise
your blood,
style. Of,
almost.
yeah.
You know, like a heat blood transfer. I don't know, dude. It's weird. But this is a problem, okay? And so you got to flat. So like to have these woolly mammoths to literally be frozen that fast. What the and like dead instantly
Right.
under apparently it's under like muck.
What do you mean?
Chaotic muck. Dirt, mud, trees, just shit. Just muck.
Whoa.
Just layered on top of them. Something catastrophic and chaotic came across them very quickly.
A pole shift would do that? Like you would
There's a lot of debate on this one, but from everything I understand, you pole shift, you are creating essentially 1,000 mile an hour tsunami and wind gust throughout the whole planet. You cannot survive this.
Yeah.
Your body would be ripped apart into pieces. So if you're not underground in like a Darankuyu or that cave I found in Indonesia, or there's caves all over the effing world. Dude. We got caves that they have locked down in the Grand Canyon that we're not allowed to touch. Where most of our mummies come from. But we'll get to that in another episode. But like that's a big deal to me. It's like that. I think that's what caused the cataclysm probably 12,000 years ago. Maybe, you know, and I think we're going to have another one of those in the next 500 to 1,000 years.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think there are miniature ones that take place in regional areas that are not pole shifts. They just something happens. So maybe a meteor hits or some shit goes down.
Yeah. Like
You know,
like an unnatural
A volcano goes off.
would that be a natural cataclysm?
It's a natural cataclysm.
What would the pole shift? I feel like the pole shift would be the most natural.
It is a natural.
cataclysm. And then
It's a natural cataclysm too. It's
a
just,
flood or a meteor would be an unnatural cataclysm. Yeah.
I still look at that as natural because it's it's like not someone intervening. No one did anything to do this. It's just natural materials interacting with each other based on
Right.
gravity and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like at that point,
This happens to enter.
this shit just happens.
Yeah.
So they're natural causes. We nuke the planet, Unnatural.
Okay.
That is not a natural cause.
'cause
we have intervened now with the natural state of things.
Right.
That would be kind of where I come from. So, like, Pompeii with the volcano, things like that. Those are natural, isolated regional events that take place.
Yeah.
And then you can have a global reset that takes place. And that's why it's hard to find evidence of our history. We find like one fossil from one of our human ancestors 300,000 years ago. And people are like, why don't we find more? Why don't we ever find more?
Just go and find it.
And it's like, well, actually, if you think about it, everything that we use in our daily lives, if we just walked away right now, we would have nothing existing within 500 to 1,000 years. Because within 1,000 years, this would all rust away.
Yeah.
It's rusting away right now. It's trying to dissolve away right now. So 1,000 years, it would just disintegrate away.
Right.
And people don't think about this.
The only thing you can preserve something on is stone.
Stone.
Literally is stone.
Stone. Limestone, granite, these bitches last forever.
I wonder where all of our internet things go. Like anything computer-wise, I wonder if it's going and if it can ever be recovered. Say something did happen to the planet, but everything is stored online at this point, right? Everything.
Except for they're now starting to come up with new storage devices. They stored. This is kind of just weird to me. They stored data in a plant. Yeah.
In a plant.
In a plant. Now, the coolest one to me, though, the one that I think has the most promise is that they are now starting to store data in crystals.
That's cool.
And they say they can store an insane fucking amount, and it can be forever.
And you can... I wonder if that's already a thing. Like if we have data stored in crystals,
yeah,
from ancient times ago.
That's kind of what I think is like. I've thought about this.
You just have to harness it somehow.
I'm like, shit, I would like to write down shit and make it save forever. Like, just play the game in your head for a minute. How would you write something that someone could then read in 1,000 years? Okay, well, go right on.
Right, because if it's on the internet, you can't find it unless you know it's there. Or if it's in a crystal, you can't find it unless you know it's there.
Is the internet even going to be there in 1,000 years?
Well, right. Does it go out into just like this etheric realm where you can actually harness it and like tune into that channel? Or is it literally just on our computers and it doesn't actually exist anywhere other than our drives?
It's a problem with my notebook.
What do you mean?
If you look at my notebooks over here, they're all physical.
Correct. And they will
forever be there.
Well, unless...
in my lifetime.
Sure, yeah.
This is all just a digital chip. That one chip goes, it all goes.
Mm-hmm.
EMP. I drop it in some water.
Yeah. So it's not here. It doesn't exist out there, right?
They both have their own pros and cons in my head.
Yeah.
Both one equally flawed. That's why the Sumerians wrote on fucking stone tablets.
Not because that's all they had. Because they knew
it
would survive.
It can fucking survive.
Yeah.
Because sacred geometry taught me there is a universal language, which means that if you wanted to pass something on, you got to figure out how to not only preserve the message 1,000 years, preserve the language.
Right.
Of what's been told 1,000 years.
That's impossible.
Correct.
Unless
there was a universal language. And that's kind of where I think like electricity has so much to do with this universal language. And I say that for two reasons. One, because of electromagnetic frequencies and everything we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
With all the cymatics and all that bullshit. But then at the same time, I think someone's been putting me on this journey for a long time for electricity. Why?
Interesting.
Why do they want me to know about electricity? And then you look at electricity and you're like, that shit's so fundamental to the universe. Like electricity is like the ether itself. That's how I see it. It's like you're just like ripping into the ether, or you're moving it so fast that the force of it gives you electrical charge.
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah.
But like lightning would just be like ripping that bitch open.
Lightning's so cool.
Yeah, it is so wild. So like, yeah, I just feel like there's something to all of this. The universal language, energy, those pyramids, the stone world, it all is all tied.
Yeah.
There's all something here.
I think there's a reason you're being pushed into the energetic realm and like really to dive deep into electricity and things like that and really figure out the truth about it. I think it'll open the door to so much more, to the
I think so.
the truth about
I hope
so
so.
much more.
I guess I hope so. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I never really planned on electricity taking me into a universal language.